We are live.
All right. Well, welcome. And my guest today needs little or no introduction. This is Flat Earth Dave Weiss, deep inside the rabbit hole, sun, moon, zodiac, clock app, all sorts of things. I'm even wearing a little button that I got from Dave when we met recently at a festival in England. Um, he
Oh,
was giving these out to bona fide flat earthers. So um,
that was the Sounds Beautiful Festival, and it was beautiful, I think. Would you do it again
it
next
was.
year if they have it, Dave? Maybe you could be speaking there next year.
I'd love to.
I'd come to
Yeah.
see you.
Thanks very much. I'm actually doing a talk at another festival, sort of linked to Sounds Beautiful. They've got a connection. They had a tent there called Hope Sussex, and that's at the end of August. I gave an impromptu talk there last year at their summer festival on the electromagnetic universe and the core, which is what I call it. And there were tears at the end of the presentation, actually. People came up to me and said, "You had me in tears there, because one of the most important, if not the most important question in our life is what is the meaning of life? What is the purpose? Why are we here? What's this all about? What's it for? And understanding that the earth is not a spinning globe, understanding that you are the center of creation, and that all of this could possibly be built around you, possibly by your higher self, for your higher self's growth, is one of the most powerful things that I think we can know. And it shapes, for me anyway, it shapes the way that I conduct myself a bit in the world. I was never like a really bad boy, but I do try and conduct myself, um, acknowledging my higher self.
You
Did
know
you want
that
to?
that's very interesting and true. I mean, I always consider myself to be a good person. Occasionally, I did some stupid things. Um, but once I found out for a fact that we are at the center of creation and there is a creator, I started behaving just a little better, like somebody's watching. Before it was like, I'm not sure if someone's watching. I'm not sure what my role is here. But now I've kind of figured out my role and what this place is or what it isn't. And I know I think I'm a better person because of it.
Totally agree with that. That's how I feel. It has inspired me to seek to work towards my betterment. It's not like a turn of a key and then the job is done. It's a process of growing and developing, moving through the kind of materialist mindset that we've all been programmed with, and breaking into, or not breaking into, but returning to something that we probably all were when we were first incarnated here. Um, so, I mean, one of the challenges for me, and I think there's very few people on the flat Earth that have taken more of this than you, Dave Weiss, is the amount of negativity that comes from the public square when trying to break people into this. And I've seen you manfully take on some really difficult conversations and interviews, and that has been much to your credit, actually. And but you've certainly been at the forefront of feeling um, that pushback, that rejection.
Yeah, and we've all grown through how we deal with it. At first, it was like, oh man, and I'd read every comment, I'd take it to heart and everything, and I would believe what they say, and they'd kind of lead me down a path of destruction. And then I realized that they're just here to expend our energy. This is all an energy war. This is just an energy war. And there's good and evil. If you want to break it down, boil everything down, there's good and evil. Good and evil. And evil wants you to be in fear, in stress, in lack, in lost, weak, powerless, just that's where they want you. And so I can relate it to everything that's going on in the world with the stupid thing that happened in Pennsylvania the other day and everything else. They just want us fighting. They just want
Yes,
us arguing with each other, within each other,
yes,
left versus right, red versus blue, male, female, just everything. They want everything needs to be a fight because then that's how they win. And the truth is, this is our world and we create it. But if we follow their mental stupidity games, that loosh energy they call it, then we're just feeding the system. And
As within,
I
sorry,
want no
Karen.
part of it. No, I want no part of
Yeah,
it. So no matter what
yeah. Well,
happens, I'm
that's
not
such an
participating.
such an important place to get to, because it's the as within, so without. And whilst me going into battle, as it were, in the streets, that state of combat readiness puts you in a state of conflict. And so you are no longer in that place of neutrality, not bought into all of this. You are somehow, whether it be in the Facebook chat room or the street, you are engaged in someone else's energy harvesting. And I think that's so important that we are able to move through. We have to go through these stages. It's not to say that you shouldn't go through the stage of going, I used to go along with everything. Now I'm resisting everything. But then once you've done your time in the trenches, then to come back to a place of neutrality rather than I'm in the left or the right hemisphere or the left or right paradigm of this.
They they want us, the trolls that come after us, they want us believing, besides believing their stupid model, um, they want us believing, oh, if you censor me, you're for censorship. And I used to be like, oh, I can't delete these comments. Now I read a comment. If I don't like the first word or if I don't like your screen name, you're banned for life. Okay. And let me tell you something. There's casualties of war here. There's innocent bystanders that are getting banned for life. So if you don't want to get banned, just don't comment on my channel because I don't want to give them energy. Sometimes I'll look at a comment. I'm like, is that person asking for real or they just, is this what they really believe? Because I want to help. I love hard questions, but then I'll click on
Yeah.
their channel, empty channel, zero content, right?
Mhm.
And so I don't bother responding to them. They're just
Yeah.
banned for life, right? So
Yeah.
if you want to comment on my channel and ask a hard question, make sure you have some content on your channel. I call those, what I call those empty channels? I call them the globe proof compilation channels, right? Because they've compiled all the globe proofs in one place and they have their
Like
empty channel.
I like that. But I think, and also one of the things about a comment section like yours, where you're attracting an audience that is sometimes on the fence or just looking at this for the first time, what they don't need to deal with is people kind of, throwing mud in the way, because that's what a lot of these disinfo types have done, is just to throw mud into the conversation to say for people to go, what, I'm not gonna go there.
Yeah. So speaking of people that are intellectually curious and people that are just dishonest, yesterday I had an interview with a guy he calls himself Dr. John, his channel, and he's all about space science, and he's an honest guy. He believes in all the math. He's really good at math, like really good.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
And he had me on with a physicist, not a physicist, a um some guy in the physics world. Okay,
Astrophysicist,
astrophysicist, analyzer, whatever, works in a lab.
theorist,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
whatever it is, whatever it is.
dreamers.
And these guys were honest. They wanted to have a conversation, but they came, it was just a brutal conversation. The amount of just indoctrinated regurgitation that they threw at me was just sickening. And then so I'd be like, okay, let's go to the next thing. Oh, you want to move on now, And it's like there's no winning. It was so bad. And I have it, I uploaded it to my channel. It's unlisted, but I'm waiting for them to put their copy out because I want to share their copy so they can get all the comments because the flat earthers are going to destroy these guys. It's going to be, I hope that they're kind. Okay. Flat earthers can be really mean sometimes, Have you noticed that, Dave?
I
I,
have noticed that.
because we're
Yeah,
passionate. We're passionate. And sometimes we just, where some of them aren't good at I don't know, orchestrating.
yeah. Well, it's because we're in a kind of fairly, like, we're in a bit of a brutal kind of in conflict with those, because those the anti-flat Earth globe heads or whatever they're called have become so vitriolic. I've recently gone back onto Facebook after years of not being on it, and there's so many more people commenting on sort of anti-flat Earth or globe proofs or blah blah blah. There's so many more people chatting on that now, but the vitriol towards the flat earther has intensified over the years. I've felt the same thing out in the street, that now I come across more people who've been programmed with a bunch of if you like, flat earth rebuttals or debunks, and they'll try and throw these at you, but they're really angry. Oh, you're fucking stupid, blah 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 blah. Well, I get that, and I also agree that flat earthers are, well, we're just regular people. We're not any different from the average Joe. So in the classroom of flat Earth, you get all sorts of people, and even inside of that classroom, you get people being a certain kind of way. Sometimes almost, I feel, almost bullying, where they're like, "Oh, well, this is the way that I see it now, and if you don't see it that way, then you must be a shill." I mean, went on Jeranism in 2020. Him and Bob kindly gave me an hour and a half to try and explain why I don't think 8 inches per mile squared is the correct curvature formula. But I couldn't convince them. But I wasn't. It would be wrong of me to say, oh, they're shills because they wouldn't accept what I say. Wouldn't believe what I say. So
Dave,
one of
wait, can we talk about that for a second? I'm curious.
the, yeah.
So why don't you think it's the right formula?
Well, because you see, what we're meant to be describing is a ship going down a globe. Like, we're observing a ship go over the horizon, as they claim. And so there is a physical amount of curvature, right? And that sometimes gets confused with what the drop is for the observer. So I accept that the Pythagorean theorem takes a straight line off the top of the ball and says, as you step down the ball, then the amount of curvature will increase. But if it's a physical sphere, Dave, and let's just not get into the globy, like
Yeah.
these four oblate spheroid, but let's just say it's a perfect sphere, then the amount of sphericity or the amount of bend will not change if I start my measurement from here, from here, from here, from here. However, when we're standing here, it's a form of relativity. We're saying, oh, well, it all starts from this 0 point and then begins to exponentially increase. But if I had to take, let's say, 100 friends and put them in barges 1 mile away from each other from the coast, each of those friends would report back that the next mile of curvature is only 8 inches.
Correct.
Whilst I would stand on the beach and say, no, you're at the mile 50. There must be thousands of feet of curve or thousands
Well,
of
that
inches of.
that's because each orientation, your friends aren't standing like this. Your friends are standing like this. So you have to.
That's right.
So this friend that's, let's say, 10 miles away, so he's tilted this way, whatever.
Yeah.
So his next guy is only 8 inches below him, but
Yeah.
from your point of view, he's way below. So mile by mile by mile, it's only 8 inches.
Yeah.
But
Well,
you have to change your plumb changes.
yeah,
Your plumb doesn't stay
agreed.
the same.
I agree with that. However, when we're taking how much has I dropped down the side of the globe as I've gone away from this horizontal line, I'm not accounting for the fact that the ship itself is actually not going straight, or the plane. It's actually meant to be tipping its perpendicular is changing all of the time.
Sure.
So our calculation doesn't need to allow for that. And so for me, it's simply the case of saying that, I've got one of your little blue dots here. It's simply the case of saying it doesn't matter where I choose to be the top of this circle. Right. Every point is bending always at the same amount. So I would suggest, respectfully, as I did with Bob and Jaron, is that it's 25,000 miles around the circle, apparently, and it's meant to denote a sphere, obviously, which it's not. It's 25,000 miles around, so a journey from the North Pole to the South Pole, if that were possible, would be a 12,500 mile journey. Yeah,
Right.
that's 12,500 miles top to bottom. But my height of my boat or plane or whatever is going to go down 8,000 miles. Yeah. And the amount that I go down is going to be an equal amount. There's never going to be a difference in the amount that my ship is bending around this. It doesn't change just because I happen to be, this is relativity repackaged. Because I happen to be standing on the top, I claim that the next 100 miles has got 66,000 feet or whatever it is. And then by the time we get to 1,000 miles, we can't calculate it because the amount of curvature is so steep and it's not even,
I got
well,
it. Yeah.
but in reality, if I was to say, oh, now I'm in South America or South Africa or whatever, and the ship is now leaving me
It
from
doesn't
Cape
work.
Town.
It doesn't work after 2,000 miles. After
No.
2,000 miles, it's way off.
So, so that, I mean, and that in itself should be,
Right.
alarm
But
because
if you compare it to the other three models and you
yeah,
graph it out for the first 2,000 miles, 8 inches per mile square gives the least amount of curvature. That's why I use it. One, because it's easy. Two, because it
yeah,
gives the globe the
yeah,
benefit of the doubt. And three, within 2,000 miles, I think the difference is 0.00 something percent. It's stupid. It doesn't matter.
yeah.
And the whole idea of the globe and tipping over and going upside down is also stupid.
I mean, I accept that if this what we're measuring is like how much it's dropping off the circle from a perpendicular line, which of course, if we lived on a globe, there would never be a perpendicular line. The ship has come from this position and is moving down to this position. But we're saying that the curvature here on this part of it is a lot greater than the curvature here. No, I accept that the amount from the observer perspective is changing like the Pythagorean model says. But in terms of the amount that this is curving, it's not curving any differently here than it is here. It's always the same. Now,
Sure.
does it really matter in the great scheme of things? I've had to resign myself with the idea that it doesn't. But why I was making the argument back in the day was that, well, we were all fed the 8 inches Pythagorean model, as that's what you would expect to see. So we all became, proponents of the 8 inches per mile squared, which I accept is the least worst of the models. But if, as I suggest, that if you lived on the outside of a sphere, that for every kilometer you travel, you're going to have to either go up or down 600 meters for every kilometer. If that were true, if that could be proven to be, that's how it would be, then of course it would immediately kill the globe because it's clearly not, we're not living on the side of a mountain, where everything is like super steep up or super steep down. Anyway, I mean,
All
it's
right. I get it. I get it.
let's
It's we don't live on a globe, so you know.
yep, yep, we don't. But anyway, the point I guess is that I see in flat Earth a few competing ideas. One that's this ridiculous idea that we're actually traveling upwards and our asses are actually heading towards our mouths. I think that's a complete nonsense. But
Except in Australia, your mouth is heading towards your ass. No, no, that's not. No, it's flat. I'm never mind. It's flat. It's rising up. Yes, our asses are racing towards our mouth.
Australia exists, does it?
Yeah,
Can you believe it?
yeah.
Um, Yeah, but no, I think that what I have seen is, and I saw it happening with Bob actually. Bob, I have a real soft spot for, and may he rest in peace. Um, but I saw Bob, taking a lot of flack from fellow flat earthers at one point, and I think that affected him. I think,
Yeah, no,
um,
it affects me. It's like people go crazy. I was on the Roseanne Barr show, and the Globe trolls out there literally had conniptions. You know what I'm talking about. I don't want to say his name. And he
yeah,
literally had a meltdown. And it was kind of hysterical. I actually made a couple of videos from it. And he sent all of his dominions, all of his minions over there to beg for him to be on the show. She hates him, by the way. But then other flat earthers from the UK sent their people over there saying that Dave is doesn't know what he's talking about and to have him on the show. Like flat earthers are attacking other flat earthers because why? Why?
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
It,
So
it,
this
it's
is
unreal. And he sent like 50 or maybe 75 people over to leave comments, and it was all just clearly an attack. And it's like you would think that this was an anti-flat earth person, but this is
mm,
somebody that's on our team
Yeah.
It's out there sending people out there to disparage me for getting
Mm.
on Roseanne, giving her
Yeah.
shit for having me on, which has woken up thousands and thousands of people and is waking up more every day. Right? It's insane. But what I do, Dave, is I just ignore it. I just let it go. Like I haven't even mentioned that to anybody except right here, right now. But it's because we're talking about that stuff. I figured I bring it out. It's actually good practice for me just to not let any of that affect me.
Mm. Well, I wanted to say, credit to you. Obviously people don't know you. I've had the opportunity to spend some time in your company, and I enjoyed that time, and I felt like, what I saw was a man who is doing the best that he can with the tools and the skill set that God gave him, or that the creator that you came with.
Yeah.
You
Thanks.
you said you were a businessman in your previous life. You walked away from that, or threw it away, depending on how you want to look at it. You threw that away because you were so passionate about this truth, which is exactly
Daves are
what I
very
did.
passionate. We had the meeting of the Daves.
You
Remember
had the meeting of the Daves,
Dave Moore?
Dave, yeah, yeah, and then the honorary Dave
Yeah.
uh, in Leahy. So, but yeah, no, there is that passion in you, and what you've done with the work that you've done over the years has been really at the top of what we've been able to do. Your app, you've been on 100 chat shows. Most of them are people who are looking at you like you're a bit nuts, maybe. Um, but here you are at, achieving like new milestones, getting on the Infowars, Roseanne Barr. I saw that. I watched all of that actually. John Thor had put a compilation together, and I watched that, and it was powerful. And here you are. It was um, such a pleasure to see you in a conversation with someone who wasn't fighting with you about it, and just willing to hear new information, and be able to distill that or hold that information and contrast it with what she already knows about the world. So much respect to Roseanne Barr for giving you that platform. But really, I wanted to kind of acknowledge what you're doing and reaching all of these new years with the work that you're doing. We may not necessarily agree on every facet of everything, which is absolutely fine. We don't need to agree on everything, but we do kind of I know that we're working on the same team towards a similar end.
Agreed. Agreed. If you hold your truth, if somebody comes up with something the opposite of your truth, if you're
Mm,
solid in your truth, hold your position. Listen to
mm,
what they're saying, weigh it against what you believe, what you know, and then strengthen what you know with it, or maybe it will weaken it because you're like, whoa, I never really thought about that. People have presented things to me where I was like, you know what, I'm changing my mind. For example, Earth is flat. No, it's not. It's a globe. And I took the information, and then since then, learning all different things. And I they're like the whole Christian Bible, anti-Bible group in the flat Earth.
mm,
They should love each other, okay? Because
yeah,
the anti-Bible people are pointing up good questions, and that would
yeah,
make the Bible people stronger because they can come out and make a video showing their what they think that actually means or whatever. Instead of
mm,
attacking each other, just strengthen your position. Strengthen your position, right? Like
mm,
people that do stuff in flat Earth that I don't like, let them do it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
mm,
It doesn't matter. Do the best you can. Like, there are people that like, hey, and like a guy just wrote a book. He's just about to publish it, and he sent me the manuscript. He's like, hey, would you read chapters 4 through 6, which is on flat Earth? And like, all right, and I'll proofread it. And he got something wrong, and I corrected him, and he's like, thank you, and he changed it in the book. He got something wrong
mm,
about the amount of Twilight, how Twilight changes worldwide, and he got
okay.
it. He was saying that in December, towards going towards December, Twilight is shorter in the South and longer, something like that, in the
Mm,
longer in the North or whatever. And the truth is, from June 21st or June 22nd, whatever the date is, to December 21st, twilight, which is from sunset to darkness, gets shorter for every place on Earth.
Hmm.
Now, every place has its own amount of twilight, its own daylight, whatever it is topographically, where they are, latitudinally, longitudinally, everything. But the amount of twilight from sunset to dark gets shorter from June to December, and it gets longer from December back to June.
Yeah.
Because the reason it's shorter is because as the sun goes out, what's it doing, David? It's getting faster. It's going faster. So after it sets is when it gets down as close to the plane as we can see, it runs away faster.
Mm-hmm.
It runs away faster.
That
And
makes sense.
that's something that actually Jaron found out, and we're looking at it, and it makes total sense. And all observations are showing it.
My daughter just came back from 3 months in South Africa. She was there January, February, March, and she said even though it was summertime, she couldn't believe how quickly it went dark.
Well, January,
Um,
February, and March, the sun's going really fast,
mm.
and it'll go dark in 5 minutes in some places.
Whereas here
Set
in
black,
England,
5 minutes.
yeah, and here in England, the sun can go away, and then in the summertime, and then a half an hour, 45 minutes later, it's still like light
Two
on the outside.
hours here, 2 hours, it's still light. The sun sets and it's still light for 2 hours in June and July. And
Yeah,
that's
it's a bit.
because the sun's going small, is slower, and it's taking a hard turn around us. So it's not really getting that much farther away very quickly. In the south, it's running away far faster, right?
Yes.
Because that tight curve we have is still keeping it close to us versus if it was running straight and faster, it's just going away faster. It's the distance the sun gets away from us that causes the twilight to go to dark.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've never been 1000% or 100% certain about how this model works, and I know you're very clear with people when you do interviews that you're not making claims of exactly how this place works. We've got these great observations, and we can extrapolate from that information how we think it works. But there's things about this realm that are
So
beyond
yeah, no,
our.
I got you. And people like you, why are you pushing the circle map? Circle map has a lot of information. Like right now, I'm right here, but
Yeah.
the hour hand is literally over Connecticut. It's around noon right now. What time is it? It's 12:04. Okay. So it's around noon. You
Yeah.
are over here.
Yeah.
So it's what time is it? What time is it where you are? Is
It's
it like,
about 5 p.m.
yeah,
5
5
p.m.
p.m. So look where 5 p.m. is here.
Works.
Right? Yeah. Oh, that actually
Yeah.
that's my time, your time. So it's about 5 p.m. and the sun's going
Hmm.
away, and the sun's going to set in a little while for you, and
Hmm.
something is to
Yeah,
it.
we got
I
to.
can wait until the sun goes over here, and then I can call my friend PK up in Australia, and I'd say, "Where's the sun? And what time is it?" And he'd say it's noon, and it's almost directly over me.
Yeah.
Something's up with that.
I had a conversation in the street the other day with a really good conversation. I was doing some activism with Dean and Sarah, and a really good conversation with a Christian, actually. And, you know, one of the things I felt in the conversation was this sense that you need to believe and you need to take what I believe as legitimate. Otherwise, your soul is screwed. Like you need that. And I do struggle with that. And I struggle with the idea that we necessarily need to know much of the stuff, how we live, what's on our heart, the goodness of our heart, and so on, is far more important than exactly what it is that we hold true. Now, obviously, I'm not, people who subscribe to my channel will know that I'm not saying, the only way is through one religious house or another, because I believe that we are meant to be our own savior. We're meant to sort ourselves out. We're here to fix us, we're here to remember who we are and to make the best of this, divest from poisoning, stuff that's poisoning us in the mind and body and soul. So, that's where I think that we maybe in Flat Earth also need to check ourselves a little bit, because I sometimes feel like it's a bit like the classroom where this group over here is saying, oh, they don't believe this bit of it, or they don't believe that little bit of it. And therefore, there are kind of worthy of derision. And if we stay in that state, then we really haven't evolved beyond what we were programmed to be, which is these sort of doggy dog
I'm very
type.
careful. I do it, and I don't do it all the time, but most of the time I say, this is my opinion. This is how I see it. This is how I think it works.
Mm,
I'm not saying, and I say there's other flat earthers that have other ideas out there, and
yeah.
we're trying to figure it out. But one thing that we all can say is it's not a ball floating in an infinitely possible space vacuum, expanding at a billion miles a second or a minute or whatever it is. It's so stupid. Whether it's a second, a minute, or a day, it's stupid. You're not
Well,
stupid. It's stupid.
yeah, it is so ridiculous. And the thing is, you see these comments from people who go, "You guys are ridiculous for making these claims that water is level." It's like, dude, that's so basically obvious.
Isn't it
Uh,
amazing when somebody attacks us like you guys are so stupid, you don't know anything. Everything they say they're saying about themselves, but they don't know it. You tell them they're projecting. They just like these guys, these science guys that I had on last night. Oh my God, they were so indoctrinated. I don't want to say stupid, but they were so stupid. It was unbelievable. It was ridiculous. It's
and it's like
it's
you see it because it's like they were characterizing stuff, and we've all come from the Space Boy Club,
yeah.
so they're characterizing stuff that is like these ideas of how this might work. This we saw the same with germ theory in 2020. People are characterizing things that are invisible, that are like in your mind. A picture has been planted, and now you can see it. I can see a craft traveling to Mars, and Elon Musk's car traveling around the sun or whatever. I can see that stuff, but it's all been planted.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about. Well, should we start with as you were talking about Roseanne Barr? Tell me where she's at, and if you can, what how that went, and
Yeah,
where
so
you feel.
it started with Eddie Bravo was on her channel, and he brought up flat. They were talking about what the whole thing wasn't about flat Earth, but he brought it up, and he's explaining how there could be more land beyond Antarctica, and she wasn't getting it. And then he kind of explained it in a certain way, and she had that aha moment. You might have seen it because I shared the video of her. Like she's like, "Oh, I get it, I get it." Right? She had that moment that we all had, right? And she
Yeah.
saw it, and then she saw my video that went viral a little bit, and then Eddie connected me with her, and she's like, "Let's do it." And we were trying to schedule for a while. Our schedules kept conflicting, and then it all worked out. Where I went to Austin, and I got on Infowars. I called Daria, who's Alex's boss. Alex's boss. She might be Alex's boss, his assistant. And I was like, "Hey, I'm going to be here. Can we?" Because she's been wanting to get me back on the show. She's like, "Let me see what I can do." And she did that. And then I also did two other podcasts. One of them just came out is The Way Forward with Alex Zach. Big
I know,
podcast
Alex.
in studio, three
Yeah.
and a half hours. I just
Wow.
released it, and it's on its way to be the number one video on his YouTube channel. So encourage people, go give it a view.
That's Alex Zek, not Alex.
Yeah, no,
That's the
Alec Zach.
okay.
The Way Forward. If you just go to my on the flatearthdave.com, my interviews, or it's on the app, the interviews button on the web page. Um, it's right there, right at the top of the list.
I asked him to do an interview with me at the end of last year. And we actually had one set up for him to come onto my channel, but he canceled me the last minute.
I,
I'm not Dave Weiss, so
I mean,
that'll
I
be.
met Alex at Anarchapulco last year, and we hung out and had a good time, and that's how that all came together. But
Hmm.
just for those of you looking, if you hit the web button on the app, up comes these buttons, and this one right here, interviews. It's right at the top of that when you hit that button. And
Yeah.
it was an enjoyable podcast. I like the in-person podcast. These Zoom ones are good. I have all my graphics and stuff, but the in-person ones are a little different. A little different. I don't have to focus on pulling up images while I'm talking.
Yeah, if you don't mind me saying, I think it's a smoother flow for you when you're not having to
Oh,
manage
how
all the
dare you?
stuff that
How dare you?
you. Yeah. Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I know obviously you with Roseanne you used your iPad to show some images in the
I
course
did.
of
And
the
then I also afterwards they gave me the audio and I gave them all of the images that go with the audio. So they were able to splice them in afterwards. And so that
yeah.
worked out really well. That worked out well. These are I produce these out of metal and they're really cool. I gave one to Roseanne. If you watch her podcast that all the ones that recorded after me, it's behind her. It's on the wall
Really
in all the other
awesome.
podcasts.
Awesome. So
They love it. They love it.
she's definitely moving away from bull belief.
She listen, they said on the podcast, we're not we're not flat earthers, but
Yeah.
they're ball skeptics. And that's all I ask. Like, yeah, how about this? None of us can truly say we're flat earthers. We're just
Mm.
ball deniers for sure. Okay? So, is the earth flat? What's the definition of flat? There I am with Jesse Lee Peterson, but is the earth absolutely surely flat? And I wouldn't say that I was tipped off that if I said yes, he would accuse me of not believing in mountains. So I wanted him to define flat first. And because like a floor, your table's flat, get a microscope, zoom in. There's mountains and
Mm.
valleys in your
Mm.
table. Is it flat? And so he was just being I guess he was just being Jesse Lee Peterson. But
Oh,
that
yeah,
this
I would
she
say just
everyone loves
who's
this.
yeah, and anyone who's listening who kind of criticizes Dave Weiss for something, you've got to remember that also when you're in the throes of an interaction, you could go back on any of my street interviews and I could probably do the same and go, I could have said this or I could have taken it in this direction. You're in the hot seat and it's much harder to kind of say exactly what someone thinks is the perfect soundbite when you're in the throes of it. It's like the football guy sitting in the couch on the sofa and watching I could have made that catch or I could have made that punt or whatever. It's like, dude, you're not there with the pressure on you, the lights on you.
Here's the thing. Um, there's certain people in the community, like after I do an interview, they'll watch it. They're like, yeah, hey, next time, check this out or here. And then somebody sent me a great clip, the Dolphins clip. I don't know if you've seen the clip of the Dolphins jumping. And hey, I'm changing it up. Um, but then there's other people that literally attack and that group in England that I used to watch every day that are just become complete and total assholes. Um, it's gotten to the point where even if they have a good suggestion, which I don't hear because I don't listen to it anymore, but
Mm.
I wouldn't even want to do it just because it's coming from a negative energy source.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
Dave, you've given me suggestions. I'm like, hey, that's a good idea. Yeah, that's a good idea. Jaron gives me ideas. I'll watch Austin. And by the way, I steal things from everybody. I see something I like, I'm going to use it. I'm going to use it. And I tell people everything I have, use it. I tell people they're like, well, I don't have a channel. I'm like, take all my videos, upload them on your channel, monetize it, okay, and share them. All right. I don't care. Like, just get the word out. And it seems to be working. It seems to be working.
It's working really well, and I agree with you. I mean, we're all taking information from, wow, I've heard this thing, and that really works for me, it resonates, and maybe I'll repackage that or present it to people. Of course, we are all of us learning as we go along. And one of the things that in the truther community, I wanted to touch on this later on, but as it's coming up, I feel like one of the things in the truther community is we don't realize that even though we know so many of the deceptions that have been perpetrated, we are still not remembering that we are the reason. The journey in this life is meant to be a journey within, not a like, oh, well, all we're going to do is focus on the outside. Yes, I love history, I love geography, I'd love to know as much as is possible to know about the nature of our story. I would love to know that. But if all I do is fixate on the story out there, then I will never fix my story. And I think that's what I feel like I want to sort of bring to the table is that we still have to do the work on ourselves, even though we might be the smartest, most knowledgeable truth seeker in the community. And that's what I see expressing in all of this vitriol and rage and whatnot is is like people are still angry. Understandably, they're still angry and they need to move through that anger. But if we're taking it out on each other, then it's obvious that we're still a long way from addressing that anger. And we may have differences of opinion, but we should be able to sit around the fireplace, drink a beer or whatever it is that you do, and be, good souls with each other.
Just like all of the Democrats and Republicans do. I mean, the World Wrestling guys, the same thing, both the same. They're all friends. They're all friends behind the scene, right? Just like share information.
Yeah.
It's but here's the thing. You have no control over what other people do. If you push against somebody, they're going to push back, right? There,
Yeah.
and I was talking about Christians before. There's a bunch of Christians that are never named before, like Joe from Effed Up World, Robbie Davidson, Rob Skiba, rest in peace, and others that literally are just awesome. They're awesome, and they set an example. They never tell you you're going to hell. They never tell you what to think. They go, "This is how I see it. This is what I read. This is interesting," and then you take it or leave it, and they don't push you. They're bringing people over. Okay, they're bringing people to God. I don't push any religion, any specific following, but I do push this place is intelligently designed. There's a creator. And then once someone sees that, I wash my hands. I go, you're on your own. You got to figure out your relationship. It's not my job. And you know what? I think that Christians and Hindus and Muslims and just people that are independently following God, whatever you want to call that, I think they're all right. They're all good. They're all doing the right thing if they're doing it right.
Yeah.
Right. But pigeonholing yourself and saying, you do this, you're going to hell, whatever. That doesn't help. That doesn't bring anybody. That pushes people away. And that's what they want. That's what I think a lot of these religions are there to scare people away from God.
Yeah, totally. And a shout out to Run Boston Bear, who's similar in that way. He's JT is
Who's Run Boston Bear? I've never heard of him.
Run Boston Bear, the mayor.
The mayor, the mayor. I'm surprised he's not here. Where is he?
Yeah,
He probably is.
yeah,
He's probably hanging out on the original stream that we put out, waiting for us to start.
yeah. Well, I know his children are on school holidays and stuff, so he has a lot more responsibility and time on with
Yeah.
that than he does normally. But that's what I think is that you're coming from a good-hearted place. I meet people from all religious backgrounds and so on with a really good heart, and you can tell that their energy is in the right place. I've had people that are Christian and other religions sometimes hand me money in the street, and say, "Hey, I appreciate what you're doing here," and without needing to take sides, because one of the it's one thing to support, your Dallas Cowboys or Manchester United Football Club or whatever it is that you support. But once you get into we argue or fight against the people from Colorado or the people from Liverpool or whatever. We fight against them because we hate them so much. Then
I
we're lost in that dialectic, and we've got to try and break back out of that, I
I
think.
I used to when people were first starting to do street activism, I said it was a waste of time. I said you're better off on the internet because you reach more people. I said, and I was just like, yeah, go ahead. Oh wow, you met 12 people. All right, 15, 20 people, and I literally poo-pooed it. And then I saw you, all right, Dave, and you were going off like a wild man, right? On one of your rants. And it inspired me. And I was like, what? Maybe the street activism has something to it. And now street activism, meeting people in person, going to events. I think that is the most important thing because they want us separated, right? They want us, they gave us Zoom, right? To keep us
Yeah,
apart so we don't bother meeting in real reality.
yeah,
Although we use their tools against them, we're using it against them right now. We're using their internet,
yeah.
we're using their Zoom, we're using their YouTube, right? All the stuff, and we're using it to bring people together. So again, you know, no matter what they do, they're going to lose if we don't follow their lose, give them that energy that they want. If we just
Yeah.
disconnect, and that's what flat earthers do, they disconnect from the system, they unplug from the bullshit.
Disconnect and return and I don't want to sound too cheesy, but to return to some state of divinity or some higher state, because I use the example of Shawshank Redemption. You know, if you open the prison gates of Shawshank and just let everybody flood out into the truth of the flat earth on one day, then those prisoners, as messed up as some of them are going to go out and cause mayhem. So for me, winning is not necessarily overturning the status quo in one day and saying, right, humanity, get on with it. Good luck. Because we've caged you for hundreds of years. We've misled you, mistreated you, and so on. And the consequence of that is that you have some very broken people in the world. And so if you release the pressure cooker of control that exists today and people haven't done that work, then the behaviors and the fallout of that would necessitate, like, the National Guard coming onto the streets, really. So I think whilst we want to push on and get, and I love what you do with your app, breaks the algorithms, so we want to push on, break the algorithms and get out there and inform people. It's like, but what does it matter? Why does flat earth matter? And flat earth matters because it starts the journey of liberating, like I've said there, free your mind, free your heart, and then free and realize your soul purpose. It's on here as well, on this new flyer that I got for people that I'll be handing out on Speaker's Corner on Sunday. So I have come through. Flat Earth for me was a journey that began in 2015. Although I'd mocked the flat Earth as a teenager.
We all did.
Yeah, well, and because I'd read it in the Bible, and which is weird for me that people who are good on the Bible don't want to see that. But I was 15, 16, and 17 was my, like, all I wanted to do was talk about flat Earth and discover the truth about the nature of the realm, and then the dawning realization that actually I'm a spirit, I'm some kind of higher entity, I'm an expression of a higher entity, and that my journey is the most important thing, that the truth is written on our hearts and we should find our way back to love, genuine love for this creation, our creator, and those in it. And so I started, rectifying myself and sorting myself out. And then, of course, 2018 and all the shouting in the street, and in 2019, certain things happened. And so it became like a battle of survival rather than I'm moving into a state of, higher consciousness, or, higher, being, or higher living, higher mindedness, or whatever. I'm not sure what the right phrase to use is, but I think you get the point. The point is that if all we do is spend our time trying to elicit the truth about this realm out there, stuff that we may never fully know. I'd go and explore, by the way, Antarctica. I would go and look if there's other continents. I'd be happy to go and check that stuff out. But the question is I'm going there as a bit part actor in the Shawshank Redemption, a prisoner that's still broken by years of incarceration, or have I gone? I'm like Tim Robbins, the lead character at the end. He's in his own zen, he's in his own place of happiness, and that's where I think that's what we should be striving towards. So for me, going into street activism was like a step back from where I was taking myself personally, to go back into the fight, as it were, to be in the left and right paradigm and having to deal with people who just want to fight with you and blah blah blah. For me, the journey forward is that I want to help people help themselves to a higher version of themselves. Andrea and I do coaching, by the way. We did a masterclass on Monday night, and we've got a workshop coming up on the 17th of next month, which is a 4-day workshop. People can get information from me on that, where we're trying to, the as within, so without, trying to help people.
That's an in-person workshop.
Well, no, it'll be a Zoom. It'll
Zoom.
be like
Okay. Zoom.
yeah, it'll be
Awesome.
a Zoom workshop. So it's available to anybody. I'll put details out on perhaps in the comment section or something like that on that. But the point is that street activism and street fighting isn't necessarily my natural home. I just went there because that was my way of starting to make a difference, and getting,
Being
you
behind a microphone in front of a camera is the last place on earth I want to be.
know.
It's not my
Yeah,
wheelhouse. It's not my wheelhouse,
yeah.
but God put me here. Something put me here. Okay. Like I was petrified of speaking in public. I hate being on camera. I hate being on microphone. I hate my voice. Right. And here I am. Here I am. I've done 1,300 interviews since 2020.
Wow. Wow. That's insane. That's amazing. That's incredible. It must be, hundreds of thousands, possibly even seven digits of people that have heard you talk now.
No, it's
On,
way over that. It's in the tens of millions now. The numbers are insane on my YouTube channel and the views and
wow.
yeah, it's crazy.
That's, well, that's legend. And I mean, it was nice to meet you because I could get the sense of, well, this guy is just living out in a way, living out the path that was kind of preordained. The skills that you learned as a businessman in Pennsylvania or wherever,
You know
you're
what?
from Pennsylvania.
No, I'm
Yeah.
from Connecticut. Everything in your life, all these little incidents that happen, they all happen that line you up for something that you have no idea is coming. I could not have predicted any of this. Okay.
Yeah.
If I had to list a million things that I would predict would happen in my life, this would be on the bottom. This would literally be the millionth one. All right. And that's how life is, though. But if you allow life to take you down the river and you enjoy the swim,
Yeah.
everything works out. Everything works out amazingly. And if it doesn't, you have to ask yourself, why is it not? What are you doing? What are you doing to stop it? And here's the thing. Sometimes we have hardships and things happen and things go wrong. You're like, why is that wrong? I think wrong is the wrong answer. It didn't go the way you thought it should go. It was an issue that you had to deal with, and it's teaching you something. It's teaching you something. Like I've learned so much. I've learned more from the things that one might call a mistake than my successes. But again, I don't regret any of it. I don't regret any of it. Even the people that in the flat Earth community that attack me, that's teaching me something. I don't like it, but that's just me. But there might be some benefit to it. But the thing is, I don't pay attention to it. You know, attention goes where
Energy
energy goes
energy
where
goes.
energy goes where attention flows, whatever opposite, whatever it is. Um, that is the truth because I don't put my attention on things I don't like. I don't know they exist. Like people like, did you hear what Nathan Oakley said about you? I'm like, is he still on the internet? Like I don't even know. Like because I don't. It doesn't come to me unless somebody sticks it in front of my face. And and the way I go now, not many people stick things in front of my face anymore.
Yeah.
Right? They're like bad things. But sometimes if someone does, I'm like, why are they sending me this? Then I'll look at it. Sometimes I'll look at it and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And then it'll inspire me to do another video or something. My latest video on the way we see the ground and the way we see the water, that came to me
Mm.
from some troll comment. And I was like, someone saying, there's no way to explain this, the horizon. And I was like, yes, there is. And I made the video. So I got to
Yeah.
thank that troll if I can remember who it was.
Yeah. 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 Well, it's fire, temper, steel, right? And that's really what this journey is about tempering the steel and honing it at what you do. Because here you are, 1,300 interviews in, and you're getting some fairly big names
Let me tell
under
you something without giving any names. I'd say this stupid thing that happened with Trump recently. Well, I don't want to say too much because this is on YouTube. Um, I say that it's a distraction to hide the flat Earth. I kind of say that jokingly, right? But not really. Like they did this whole thing to stop the flat Earth movement. That's a bold statement. But I was about to go on a much bigger podcast than Roseanne, and they postponed it because of the Trump thing. Okay. So
wow.
therefore, the Trump thing held back flat Earth because this interview could break the internet. All right. The trolls are
Wow.
going to freak out. The trolls are going to freak
So,
out.
so you've got that coming. It's in the pipeline.
We'll see. We'll see. We were literally just negotiating on like, okay, I think we're going to do this, and then it happened. They're like on hold because they're all about it. I don't want to give out too much information. I don't want to tell anybody. I don't want to say anything. I don't want to jinx anything because, you know, the McLooney Tunes of the world. They literally go out and they call and they email and they like don't have him on. It's crazy. It's crazy. I have to thank him though because he did secure me a second interview with Roseanne. She hates him and she wants me back on because of that.
She wanted you back on anyway.
She did,
She felt
but they
you
finally
did
said we're
that.
going to book it now.
Yeah,
It's so funny.
yeah.
I would share the
No,
text message, but I don't want to share the text message that she sent me. It's pretty funny.
well, that's fantastic news, and
Yeah.
I think bigger, and of course, Infowars. That's a pretty big horse. I mean, I know obviously he was taking the piss a little bit,
Thank
and
God when I was doing it, I was actually talking to Eddie Bravo, and I said, "Hey, I'm going to be going on. I'm on Infowars on whatever the date was." I said, "Any chance you're around?" He goes, "I'm landing in Austin that morning," and I was like, "He goes, I can come to the show as long as it's after 12," and I'm like, "Done, right?" Thank God I had him. Thank God because they're buddies, and Eddie knows how to shut Alex up. Alex was just totally against all of this, and we got out more information than we thought we would. So thank God for Eddie. It would have been really bad without him.
yeah, I think it went quite well actually. Obviously, yeah, Alex Jones was being
Drunk
pretty
and
belligerent,
stupid. Yeah, he was
but
drunk and stupid, is what he was.
yeah, okay, but it puts the conversation into people's living rooms, and it's like what people are talking about flat Earth that haven't heard it before.
It was the best day and the worst day. This is what Daria said to be on Infowars because one, it was the day Trump got indicted, right? Or the indictment. So they were all about Trump. So they had a massive audience, right? We were supposed to be on for an hour and a half. They pushed out. They ate a first half hour. They went long on the news, and so we only had an hour. And but then we're literally the sitcom that came after the Super Bowl, right? So it was their number one highest viewed live broadcast ever when I
Wow,
was on
wow,
or
wow.
close to it. That's what they said. The number that came running in with the numbers, they're like, holy crap. And it was now, was it because of Flat Earth? Mostly because they had a huge lead in, right? That
Yeah,
was a huge lead in. So,
yeah.
and
But
everybody,
I think
everybody
people are
loves
gonna,
Flat Earth.
yeah, yeah. I think, and people are gonna listen, even if they're gonna ridicule at some point in the future. Just like with me, when I first heard it, I ridiculed. But at some point, it was like, damn, I've got to go and look at flat Earth now. I'm going to look at it seriously, and I'm going to give it a fair wind. And I think that's what will happen with a lot of people from that.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter, any of these shows we get on, there's new people coming over. I'm still getting tons of emails from Roseanne listeners, from Infowars listeners. They're like, holy crap, where can I get more information? And I just like go to my website. It's all there. You have the app, frequently asked questions, it's all there. Um, and then I just get accused of doing this for money, doing it for grifting my app and everything. I'm just like, suck an egg, banned for life,
Yeah.
banned for life.
But it's a weird thing. It's like, I know that you've had to, for that app, you've had to invest a lot of money and time to create it. So it wasn't just, just came together. But
It's
even if,
nonstop. It's nonstop.
yeah, I'm
Yes.
sure. And you live, having met you, I know that you live this, you seem to be enjoying life, and I think that's commendable. But you live this journey, this truth, this information, and I think what more could someone ask for? But if a guy can make a little bit of money from putting his energy into something, well, that's the system we live in. We can't just give away our energy for free. Sometimes we do,
It's it's
but
it's not about money, right? We all need money, okay, in this system. We need to break away from that. But I look at it as energy, Dave. I share the energy. Like when if I go on some big shows and let's say 10 million people subscribe to the app, okay, that's a lot of energy. What can I
yes,
do with all that energy? I'm gonna do some crazy stuff with that energy in the
yeah,
flat Earth community, right?
yeah,
So I don't care. People, even flat earthers, people get jealous or like, oh my God, you're monetizing. But I'm not monetizing anything. I'm taking energy and I'm funneling it where it needs to go. I'm
yes,
doing my best. And it would be
yes,
nice if, if other talented, smart, educated people that are doing research, would like to help and share and, not just criticize and attack. But, I can't, as I said earlier, you can't change people. People are who they are. And the only thing you can do is set a good example. If someone is down there and crappy, you don't go down there and meet them. You stay up here and you offer them to come up with you.
That's
I'm
right.
up here. I'm not going down there. It's shitty down there. You
Yeah.
enjoy yourself down there. I'm not going.
And it's dark, and it's gritty, and what I remember from 2016, say, being in constantly in Facebook pro flat earth chat rooms, and having constantly these sort of early days anti-flat earthers trolling, and I'm in a constant loop of, I wake up in the morning and I'm thinking about an argument, I'm looking for the continuation of that argument with that person, and then I immerse myself in that. And that was why I had to step away from all of that, because I was getting lost in the mire. And even though now I've gone back, as I said, on Facebook, I'll sometimes go into one of these sort of anti-flat earth groups and just poke the bear a little bit, but I'm not
Sometimes you got
invested.
to poke the bear, Dave. Sometimes you got to poke the bear.
Yeah, I'm not invested in their reply, or with the names they might call me or whatever. It's kind of like the water off the duck's back now.
Yeah,
So
you have to find that discernment where, okay, this is a troll. If I
mm,
answer the question, I'm feeding the troll, but am I also giving other people that are looking information? Most of
that's
the
right.
time, they're not enough people are looking. It's not worth it. You dump the
Mm,
troll, right?
mm.
Or like, hey, that's a really stupid question. You're banned for life. I'm making a video on that exact thing. I'm uploading it onto this channel, and now everyone's going to see it. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Well,
much.
I do think that's why I put your QR code on my banner,
I
which you can see over
I
there.
appreciate that.
Because I do think that what you've collated is a pretty comprehensive, um, you know, you know, smorgasbord of content.
I appreciate that. And I more, anyone that comes across like, hey, this is a great video. I haven't seen it on the app. Go on the app, search, make sure it's not there, and then send it to me with a little synopsis. Like, hey, Dave, this is a great video for the app. And just tell me what it is. Anyone sends me just a link, deleted. I don't click blind links. I don't have time. All right. But if you want to suggest a video, if you think it's really good, you think it would help the app, let me know. I'll put it so it shows up in the search, because I'm adding new videos to the search every day. You search Eratosthenes, bam, all the videos are there. No troll videos, right? So I'm trying to add more and more, but I'm a one man shop right now. I'm one man. I'm one man doing
Mm.
it all. Right. I got 4.5 hours sleep last night. It was almost a record.
Wow, man,
A
that's
record
yeah.
for
You gotta,
for a lot of sleep.
you gotta you gotta take care of the self. You're
Well, I've convinced myself that I only need 4 hours.
okay. Is
I've
that something
convinced
to?
maybe it's
Yes.
all in my head. Like, I don't know. I maybe I don't want to say it, but if I had more time to sleep, maybe I would.
Uh, no, but you're a busy guy. I admire that. So,
Listen, I'm not complaining at all. I am super happy. I've never been more busy in my life, and I've never had more free time in my life.
mm, awesome. You're in master. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So okay. So you've had some big names, and some more big names to come. Um, and do you feel like the flat Earth, the truth about the NASA deception and the globe hanging off the globe is all nonsense? Do you think that truth is spreading like wildfire now?
I think it is. I think we're if you look at like something goes and it curves up, we're leading up to the top part of that hockey
Mm,
stick. I think
mm,
just a couple more big interviews, and then that's going to spiral into everyone else wanting to talk about flat Earth. And it's not just
mm,
going to be me. They're going to need more people. They're going to need other people. They're going to get Austin and you and Jaron and whoever, whoever can do it without attacking other flat earthers. Guess what? If I was somebody else, I could pick out 100 things that David Weiss does that I don't like. Okay. but I'm just doing the best that I can from where I am, right?
Yeah.
And and I'm doing it by myself. Oh, you're
Yeah.
not. You're got a controller. You're a Jew. It's like shut the fuck up. It's like it's unreal what people say, and I try not to pay any attention to it. I actually don't. I'm really good at not paying any attention to it. I don't care anymore. I'm at that stage where like, could I give less fucks?
Awesome. Well, I mean, as you said, maybe tens of millions or 10 million people have heard you talk on this topic. And in the main, I really can't fault you for the message that you give. I know after the one that toolbox, Professor Dave saying I contacted you to say, maybe I would have said this. But again, it's like it's easy to sit on the sofa and go, well, I'm not under pressure, but I
Well,
would have answered it this way,
that
and I
one,
would have
that
answered
one, I actually went into that interview thinking that he was there to learn and that he would actually listen. I was so naive and so bad, and you know, people say, "Oh, we want to have you on a debate with this professor or this," and I'm like, "I'm not the guy for that. You got to talk to Austin, or you got to talk to Nathan Thompson, or whatever. There's other people that are much more geared at that, right? I am not very good at advanced math. I'm good at basic math, but the advanced stuff, like, what? There's other space audits. Go talk to Alan, right? He'll
yeah.
fucking math you to death, right? Into the 7.8 miles under the ground. No farther. Can't get any deeper than that. Right. So
Totally.
the thing is, I got the easiest job in the world. It's Flat Earth 101. It's
Yeah.
just, I'm here to get your interest. Once you're
Yeah.
in, like I'm the crack dealer, just have a little hit, just take a little bit, right? Okay, you good? All right, I'm out. Okay, because now you're hooked, right? Just
Yeah. Yeah.
just get them in, and then let them find their own way.
The gateway truth.
I
Uh,
that's that's my job. I think my job is I look at it as my job is to show them that we're in a created world. That's it. If I can get you to the point where it's not a big bang, it's intelligently designed, horizontal, level, non-rotating system, I'm done. I'm done with you. You want
and
any
then
other
go check
questions?
it out. Yeah.
Go find them
Yeah.
yourself. Use my app if you want. Use my website.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I love that. And I know that in the street activism, that's the best I can hope for is just to at least um, open the door to them looking at this gateway truth. And that's why I think having this as a resource to send them to your app so that they can like quickly get hold of a lot of interesting and useful content is vital. But I do see myself, maybe not ever leaving the activism behind, but I do see myself kind of then receiving those people that have come through the gate and gone, okay, I've seen flat Earth. I understand that, all of this deception. What does it mean for me? What does it mean? How does it make a difference in my life? And I think that's where the beyond flat Earth is for me, and where I would like to take people. But I absolutely think that there has to be. I may have even said this at Sounds Beautiful Festival. There has to be people willing to man the stand at the gate there, which is that hey, there's something interesting to see here. Come along, let me teach you, and then keep moving. The same with Tartaria or Mudflood or hidden histories, all these sorts of things. Like, yeah, there's some fantastic stuff to see, but don't let that be all she wrote. This is the beginning of a
right,
journey
just
of
look and then figure it out yourself. I try to say in every interview, do not believe anything I say. I'm just pointing to doors that you've never seen, that you've never questioned, help you get out of your indoctrinated nonsense that you've memorized and that you're really good at regurgitating, and then figure it out yourself. That's what I try to do. It's not always that easy.
mm,
So
yeah. Well, I mean, that was really the the crux of what I wanted to talk to you about today, Dave, is that, one, it's commendable what you're achieving. I look forward to someone like Roseanne Barr, um, becoming, sometimes it's not in their best interest and in the best interest of um, of reaching more people to come out and use the term flat earther. when you can call out NASA and say, everything that NASA offers is a lie, they never landed on the moon and so on, without necessarily needing to say that it's this flat Earth, then you hold more people in your audience who will then
The,
go on that journey.
yeah, the trick is to hold your truth, stay elevated, share with those willing to listen, and not to give two fucks. You know who doesn't give two fucks? This guy. Okay.
I've seen that now. Alex Michaels' new
Did you
song.
guys
Yeah,
notice that he's got a gigantic penis in his pants?
I hadn't looked.
Yeah.
Is it a rocket?
It's a giant penis. All right.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I've seen that actually, and he's just released a new solfeggio album. If anyone's looking for some fairly chilled solfeggio, then he's got a new album that came out last week, I think.
Yeah, I believe I believe it's in the shopping section. Maybe it
Is it?
is.
Is it?
It is.
Alex Michael,
It's
conspiracy theory.
where is it? I thought it was in here. Um,
I love that he used a number of well-known anti-flat earthers. You're a space cunt.
yeah.
That, yeah.
Um, it's not there. It's on my website. If you go to my website, it's on my website. There's a big banner, and you got to get it. It's awesome, and it'll heal you.
See, that's what I like about Flat Earth Dave here, is that he's promoting other people doing good stuff in the community. And for me personally, with my previous YouTube channel, I think I probably never got as many subscribers as I did by you showing one or two videos from me. It may be a toss up between you and Russian bits, but I've obviously
But I didn't jump the shark. All right, no, no,
yeah.
no said there.
Yeah.
No said there. And for those of you that are asking, these things are awesome. People are buying them. They're on there's icewall.shop, or it's on the app in the shopping section. And we have them with the map and with the compass. They're awesome. I've got three of them in my room here, and they look great above your fireplace or whatever. So check them out.
Awesome. I've got to send you some pictures actually. My friend Francois, the Flat Earth Farmer, he got a lot of these printed large and embedded them into some tables that he makes and
Really,
a few other things. So I've been meaning to
I need
send
to
you.
see pictures of this guy.
Yeah, I'll send you some pictures in the next few days.
Awesome, awesome.
And yeah, so I really commend that and commend what you do, and I want to wish you like all the best going forward. It was
Dave, we're
great to
we're
meet.
we're all in this together. We all are inspiring each other. If I've
Mm,
inspired you, awesome, because you've inspired me. Everyone, like, there's certain people that inspire me, and then the ones that don't, I just forget about them. Right?
mm,
Don't focus. Like, think about how sad the trolls are. The ones that show up in every chat, like every interview I go on, they're there before me. In the comments after the video gets uploaded. I'm like, Dave, do you hang out in places that you hate?
no.
Could you
No.
imagine what a horrible life that is? Just
Mm,
hanging out in places, you know, it's
yeah.
so dumb. It's so stupid.
And understandable, but harder to grasp that it's flat earthers who camera just switched. It's flat earthers who are sometimes doing more of that trolling and um, oh, well, you didn't speak the way that I speak in this way, so I'm now going to, or you didn't use the example that I prefer to use, so I'm going to troll you. And I think, it's not for me to be condemnatory, but it's a new word, but it is an example of how I say that like the example I use of puppies in a cage, where you've got 10 puppies in a cage and you throw three puppies worth of food in every day, those puppies are going to fight each other. And even when they eventually get let out of the cage, they're going to still be like those sorts of people. So I suspect that what we see is that once we get over the honeymoon of discovering that we're all in this together in this one created world, some of those old behaviors of who we are start to show themselves again. And so just because we know this truth does not mean we're the done deal and we're healed and so on. And I really feel like I hope that people are able to reflect on some of this stuff. I was making, back in 2019, before I went on the Globe Light tour around Europe, I was getting drawn into the anti-Mark Sargent rhetoric and so on because he was coming over to the UK festival, UK thing that Robin Campbell was organizing, and it was only like 5 days before he came or whatever that I thought to myself on the Sunday, oh, fuck, why am I getting caught up in all of this bullshit? At the end of the day, the man is putting out great content. He's bringing people to this conversation that would have
Brought me to
never.
Flat Earth. Mark is one of the top people that brought me to Flat Earth. So keep doing it.
That's right.
Listen, we don't agree with everything. Nobody likes everything anybody does. All right. And
Mm,
that's okay. That's okay. And Mark has given me great suggestions, and I've given him some suggestions that he's taken up. Like Mark, stop saying the ice wall. Talk about the shoreline, and he did it
mm,
for a while. He did it, whatever. And like any just approach people and share.
mm,
You got to be careful about it. Hey, as I said before, getting together in person is important. Finding one person local to you that you didn't know before that's a flat earther literally will become your new best friend.
yeah.
And on the app, if you click the meetup maker, right? Click the meetup maker.
He's
This
a,
is whoops. Hold on a
you're a
second.
great salesman.
Hold on. I'm not.
Yes,
I'm.
this friend,
Oh,
this meetup maker friend thing.
well, it's not showing correctly on here because I got something. But on the bottom, this is important. Alert me of local meetups, and then put in your email address and put in whatever radius. I have it set for 1,000 miles. That's pretty far. You might want to set it for 100 miles or 500 miles, and that way, when someone sets up a meetup, you'll get an email. You're like, hey, you know what? I'm going to be available that day. I'm going to be near that place. Go show up, have a beer, a slice of pizza, whatever it is, and you're going to meet new people. So just do that. You don't even have to, and you can list your own meetups in there. But just if you're there, like there's a meetup going on in New York that I didn't know about. It's not too far from me. Like I think I'm
Yeah,
gonna go. I think I'm gonna go. So just anybody can set a meetup in there. So there you go.
awesome. And for those people who say, "Oh, I don't want to put my details out," I think one of the things that truthers are notorious for is not trusting. And I think we should have no fear. Like
You
if
can you
we are,
can put all fake names. You can get a throwaway email address. You can put you can do whatever you want. But people will look at it. They'll look at your profile and they're like, who is this person? And or they'll look at it and go, wow, look at this person. This person's a serious flat earther, and check out their channel. And like, hey, you know what? I'm going to go say hello. And if one person shows up, you're going to have a great conversation. But Lowry and I did it. Of course, we're a little better well known, and we had like 80 people show up.
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's amazing. Well, I think if you haven't already got the app, go ahead and
Everyone
you
here's
know,
got the app. Everyone,
73 bucks
everyone here's got the app.
and another few bucks, and you've got yourself on the friend finder, and you will, yeah, generally. I mean, because there is something about one of the craziest elements or hardest elements of going into flat Earth is the cost to the relationships with those that don't come with you, and it can become very lonely.
Somebody emailed me today. They're like, "Hey, I just got a new phone, so I downloaded the open source version, but I can't afford the subscription because I'm living in my car." I was like, "Okay, this person is tight on money," and I was like, "No problem. Here's a free subscription." And I said, over the course of a year, all you need to do is get 11 referrals, and then you got yourself another year, right? Because if you're talking to someone about flat Earth that's new, and you show them the app, they're going to want to get the app. So use the referral to earn your subscriptions. And the other thing is, for those of you that don't know, most of you should know, in the referral section. Whoops, I can't get in there because I'm on a test version. But if you click the referral button, which is on the friend finder screen, the middle button on the top left, you have your referral code. If people use that, you're going to earn crypto. You're going to earn Dome coins. They may be worth nothing. They may be worth a lot. Who knows? but for every person you wake up to flat Earth, you earn 1,000 coins. So and they're free. They no investment, nothing. All you got to do is put your MetaMask in there. If you don't know how to, you don't know what your MetaMask is, just open up the friend finder. The video will pop up that teaches you how to do it. Um, and just put a MetaMask wallet in there and forget about it. Right? In 4 years from now, if we look and go like, huh, those things are worth
Yeah.
$1, or they're worth a penny, or they're worth $10. Who knows? Nobody knows. But
Did you call it Dome Coin?
it's called Dome, yeah, where the dome is the limit.
Awesome.
Yeah. So it's super it's a meme coin with a purpose. And its purpose, the way you mine it is you wake up people to flat Earth. Every time someone uses a referral code, it generates 1,000 dome coins. And those go into your wallet. And people are already trading these things, right? And we haven't even started. So again, don't spend any money on it. Do it, forget about it. Use the, use the referral codes. And here's the thing. You want to wake people up to flat Earth anyway. I'm just giving you a tool to make it a little more fun, and who knows what's going to happen with it. All
Yeah.
cryptos are based on community. We have a great community. We have a growing community. We have an interested community. We have a community that doesn't get smaller, it only gets bigger, right? People
Yeah.
don't leave flat Earth because once you see it, it's your reality. Once you see reality, you can't go back into Narnia.
Absolutely.
So there you
Absolutely.
go.
Well, that's awesome. And I mean, I would, where was I going to go with that, Dave? Um, yeah, I would say one of the things that I have, someone asked me a question when I was on the street the other day, someone in the chat room asked me about other street activists and how much other street activism goes on. And I have to confess that it's less than I expected in the last 5 or 6 years. You had Josh and Harry McDonald, John Smith Global, doing early street activism, and then it never really like took off in a big way. But having the advantage of, say, your app with all these tools on it, you could stand on a street with another friend and do a little bit of street activism, put some chalk down and so on, or even go to your high street or whatever and put some chalk down when it's quiet and no one can see it. And then the next day, people are going to walk past that chalk and get the message.
Or
Um,
pour some spell flat Earth out in gasoline and then light it on fire and run away on their lawn, on their lawn. I mean, don't do it. No, nobody should do that. Nobody should do that, right? That's bad.
No, do that. And
Nobody.
particularly if you're the only flat earther in the village, because people will know it was you.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's a bad idea. Bad.
yeah, yeah. Well, I like the way you spelled flat earth out with those glow sticks at the festival.
That
That
was
worked out
fun.
pretty.
That was super fun. Yeah.
Um, Dave, actually, by the way, we arrived at the festival on the Thursday, and Dave very kindly came and helped us put up our tent. So this is not a guy who's too big for his boots to kind of come and help put up his tent and use the portaloo. Well, I don't know about that, but anyway, I was grateful for that, and I thought, yeah, that was a really nice gesture, that you took the time to come and give us a hand with that. So
I couldn't bear watching you struggle any longer. I watched for a half an hour and I was like, I just gotta go help these guys.
you were like, oh, if he doesn't get this tent up now,
Well,
it'll be all
first we
day
sat,
before he comes back.
Ian, honorary Dave Ian, him and I sat with a couple beers. We just watched and laughed for a half an hour, and then we're like, okay, let's go. No, we actually did. We walked over.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, that was very nice of you, and it was nice to meet Paige and spend some time with you guys, and it all went very quickly, too quickly actually.
it was 4 days,
Uh,
went super fast. Yeah, it was great weather. It was awesome, and I'm looking forward to it next year. I hope they do it again.
awesome. You'd come back?
I would.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, if I'm in England, I'm definitely going to be talking there if I get invited, of course. And I will be talking, as I said earlier, at the Hope Sussex Festival at the end of the month, which is great for me because I always said to Andrea, like, this journey for me in the streets is got to mature. I'm engaging in the street fight, but I'm looking to get into the big ring, eventually, and this is my stepping stones towards such a thing. And you're in the big ring, Dave, and it's amazing to see. It's great to be able
I'm
to support
doing my
you.
best. That's all I can say.
Well, you're doing amazing. And
Thanks.
I want to thank you for all your hard efforts and your contribution to Flat Earth. And perhaps in a few months' time, you'll be willing to come back and have another chat and just see where we are. And maybe you've had these even bigger conversations and it's going crazy.
I'll be too big for your little channel then, Dave. No,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
not true. Not true at all.
Love it. Love it. Well, thank you very much. And I appreciate everybody for stopping in. Was there anything you'd like to say in closing, Dave?
Um, that's it. Be good to each other and spread the truth. That's for those willing to listen, and don't waste your energy on those that have no interest in, excuse me, expanding their minds.
Absolutely. There you go. Research electromagnetic flat Earth.
Nice.
All the best, Dave Weiss.
All right.
I'll speak
Thanks,
to you in
Ben.
due course. Cheers, brother.